If you're training consistently but still think you should look better, then this video is for you. Most lads make this mistake where they don't commit to a phase. So they'll either cut for a bit, they'll feel flat, they'll feel skinny, they'll panic when their t-shirts maybe start fitting a bit looser, they'll reverse out, then they'll start bulking. They might get a bit fluffy, gain a little bit of excess body fat, they don't quite like the look of the body composition, they panic again and they reverse out back to a cut. What ends up happening is you're in this middle ground of just spinning your wheels between a bulk and a cut, and lads end up wasting months or even years trying to do this. I know this because I made the exact same mistakes myself. In this video, I'm going to show you how to decide whether you should bulk or cut, how fast you should be losing weight on a cut, how fast you should be gaining weight on a bulk, and this will stop you spinning your wheels between the two. I'm an online coach and I help lads who are training consistently but their physique does not reflect the effort they're putting in. It's not really beginners I work with, it's mainly lads like yourself who are training 3 to 4 days a week but they feel like they should be getting a lot more out of their training. A lot of them are stuck because they don't know what phase they should be in. They jump between a cut and a bulk. They don't know how to manage each phase correctly and what numbers they should be tracking as well. And if you're in a fat loss phase at the minute or you feel like you should be leaner than you are for the effort you're putting in, I've got a free guide in the description that goes over the common fat loss mistakes that people make, and it includes a bonus section on what to do after the diet ends so you don't regain the weight. So the first thing we need to understand is what happens in these bulk and cut cycles that keeps people stuck. So when people start to diet down, they will go gung-ho for a couple of weeks and then they'll start doubting themselves. They'll feel like they're getting a bit skinny, they're getting a bit flat, they're not sure how fast they should be losing weight. Maybe t-shirts won't fit as well. And there's this like middle ground between a bulk and a cut, especially as you're cutting down, where your shape does go a little bit. You are a little bit flatter before you get to that really lean, athletic look. And that's where a lot of people reverse out. Then on the bulk side of things, people start gaining. They don't have targets in mind. Maybe the t-shirts aren't fitting as well. They're gaining a bit of body fat. People panic as soon as they start to get a bit fluffy and a little bit of definition disappears. So then they might go down, cut for another 2 or 3 weeks and go back into a bulk. But by doing that, you're just not giving yourself the runway in either phase. So the next step, when should you actually cut? How do you know whether you should be in a cut or not? I would look at your body composition and your body fat percentage. So generally, once you hit that 15% mark, maybe where there's still a bit of ab definition, but they're starting to go a little bit, I would use that phase to cut down. Or if you're someone who's just carrying excess body fat, you don't have any visible definition at all, I would definitely recommend cutting down, because if you start to bulk from that position, yeah, you'll put on muscle, but you'll probably start to feel a bit shit. You won't see any of the muscle that you have built because it's under a layer of fat. And then in the future, you're going to have to do an even longer drawn out cut. And some guidelines here for cutting. How fast should you be losing weight on a cut? And what should your macronutrients be made up of? So your carbs, your fats and your proteins. So kind of a moderate speed of weight loss is 0.5 to 0.7% of your body weight per week. Once you start touching 1% of your body weight loss per week, that would generally be considered an aggressive cut. So for most people, that 0.5 to 0.7% is absolutely spot on, unless you're quite experienced or you're not going into too long of a cut. So maybe a mini cut that's like 4 to 6 weeks, you could do 1% body weight loss per week, but you do have to have experience with tracking. You have to be pretty dialed in. So I'd more recommend that stage of an aggressive fat loss phase for someone who's got experience tracking before. Then in terms of your macronutrients, so protein, I'd keep it between 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams of protein per kg of your body weight. Then when you're cutting, having that protein a little bit on the higher end, maybe 1.8 plus, you'll be absolutely fine. Then 20-25% of your calories to fats. For a male, I wouldn't recommend going below about 50 grams of fats per day. And for females, I wouldn't recommend going below about 40 grams per day. And then just fill the remainder of your calories with carbs. And to find your initial deficit, you can use any calorie calculator out there. They'll spit out an estimate. Another good way to do it is you can just track your calories for a week straight consistently, and then whatever number that is averaging per day, just knock 500 per day off that, then assess it as the weeks go on. If after 7 to 10 days you're starting to lose at that rate of weight loss, say the 0.5 to 0.7% per week, you're good. Your hunger is good, your energy is good. You will have a little bit of hunger on a cut, just expect it, but you can manage it with properly timed meals and your meal structure being dialed in too. And then I'd weigh in every single day, because the scales can spike, and from those daily weigh-ins you want to get an average body weight for the week. So one single weigh-in isn't the most important thing, it's your average per the week that you want to look out for, and once that average is trending down, you're all good. And if you hit a plateau at any point and your tracking is dialed in, you're being consistent, you're adherent, you can either look at dropping calories by 150, 200 per day, or you can increase the cardio. Personally, I find just dropping calories is the easiest. Once you've got a little bit of wiggle room, you'll get a lot more out of dropping calories than you will from doing cardio. Of course, you can do both, but I generally recommend calories first. So now you're finished the cut and you're thinking, should I bulk? What should I do? So finish the reverse diet first, where you bring your calories back up to maintenance. I won't cover that in this video. It's a separate topic. And then if you decide you want to start bulking, you should be looking at, do I want to pack on more muscle? Do I want to get stronger on certain lifts, just increase performance? That's a good enough reason to bulk. Or you might find, you know what, I'm absolutely delighted at this weight. I look great. I'm really happy, and just keep it at that level. Then when you're bulking, there's certain targets that you want to hit for your rate of weight gain. So a lot of lads will start bulking, they've no targets, body fat is just creeping, body weight is just creeping, and then all of a sudden they've gained like 5, 6, 7 kg in a short space of time, and then they end up having to cut back down again. So if you're someone who's relatively new to the gym, maybe your first 1 to 2 years of lifting, your body weight gain per month, I'd recommend about 1 to 1.5% body weight gain per month. If you're more experienced, say like 2 to 3 years, I would go 0.5 to 1% body weight gain per month. And then when you're advanced, you just want to go super slow, 0.25 to 0.5% body weight gain per month, because the more advanced you are, the less muscle you're going to pack on compared to your first year or two of lifting. That's when you make a lot of your gains. You're more primed to build muscle. It slows down rapidly then. So just having excess calories for the sake of it isn't going to lead to any faster muscle growth. It's just going to cause you more fat gain, and it'll shorten the time you can actually spend in a productive bulk then. And the final thing, how long should you actually cut or bulk for? I get lads asking me this all the time. They don't know how long they should be in a phase. So for your fat loss, I would set an initial target of roughly where you want to get to with your body weight. Now, body weight isn't the be all and end all, but at least it gives a good starting target. So say you wanted to knock off 5 kg, you could do 1 kg per week. And if you wanted to go slightly less aggressive, maybe like 0.5 to 0.8 kg per week, map that out over a couple of weeks, lose the 5 kg in 6 weeks, 7 weeks, assess how you're looking. Are you quite lean? Have you got to the desired shape? If not, then you can push it on for another couple of weeks, or if you're happy, you can reverse out and then go back into your bulk. And then with the bulk, similar, like you could have a bulking phase last anywhere from 6 months to a year to even 2 years if you wanted to, depending on how comfortable you are with gaining a bit of body fat. So as you bulk, it's inevitable that you're going to gain some body fat. You can mitigate it by like being smart with how fast you gain, but really it's up to the individual. So I find for me, when I get to a stage I'm about 15%, pushing 16% body fat in the bulk, don't really like that look. I find like I'm a bit heavy on the feet when I'm running a lot. Don't really like the shape either. The lifts are generally feeling really good, so I like to just do a quick tidy up there, get quite lean, maybe like 12-13% body fat, not completely shredded, and then start it again. So it's really up to your tolerance for body fat gain. But if you do it slow and steady and you gain weight right, you should be able to stay in a surplus for several months, even up to a year, and you'll get a hell of a lot more out of it than chopping and changing then every couple of months. And then on the bulk, just make sure you keep doing the things you did on a fat loss phase. Weekly progress photos, tracking the food, tracking your training. The progress visually won't be as drastic, but looking at it month to month will really help you just see how the shape is looking, if you do need to do a quick tidy up or not. So if you found this helpful, drop me a follow on Instagram at Alan Quigley Coaching, and in the description of this video there is a free guide on the common fat loss mistakes people make and a bonus section on what to do after the reverse diet. Cheers.